We like to think that every puzzle has a solution, that with enough time, enough brain power, or enough computing force, any lock can be picked and any secret can be revealed. But some messages aren't just locked. They feel like they were written in a language from another reality. These are the codes that have resisted the world's best efforts, their meanings lost to time or tragedy. They're not just puzzles. They're disturbing echoes of stories we may never get to hear. First, let's talk about Ricky McCormick. On June 30th, 1999, his body was found in a cornfield in Missouri. He had been missing for just a few days. The circumstances of his death were never determined, and 12 years later, the FBI released something incredible. They found 2 handwritten notes in his pockets. They weren't letters or a diary, but page after page of what looks like complete gibberish. A chaotic jumble of letters, numbers, and parentheses. The FBI's Cryptanalysis and Racketeering Records Unit. The same people who break codes from spies and criminal organizations were completely stumped. They posted the ciphers online, asking the public for help. They believed that cracking these notes could solve the mystery of McCormick's death. But nobody has ever come close. What's so disturbing is that McCormick's family said he'd been writing in this code since he was a boy. He was a high school dropout, so it's unlikely he was a master cryptographer. So what is this? The ramblings of a troubled mind, or a personal shorthand that holds the key to his final moments? We just don't know. The notes remain a silent, frustrating testament to a life cut short. Next, we have a name that everyone knows, the Zodiac Killer. He terrorized Northern California in the late 60s and early 70s. And he loved to taunt the police and the public with letters and ciphers. A few of his codes were actually solved. First, the Z408 was cracked by a schoolteacher and his wife. It was a chilling message, full of spelling errors, about how much he liked killing people, because it was so much fun. For decades, his most infamous cipher, the Z340, remained unsolved. Then, in 2020, a team of amateur codebreakers from around the world finally cracked it. The message was more taunting nonsense, claiming the killer wasn't afraid of being caught. But here's the unsettling part. That wasn't his last cipher. There are still 2 more that remain completely unbroken. One is a short 13-character code, and another is a 32-character code sent with a map. What secrets do they hold? The location of a bomb, as he once threatened. The name of his next victim? Or, most tantalizing of all, his own name. The fact that we've come so close, cracking his most complex messages, makes these last 2 holdouts even more maddening. The Zodiac case is officially cold, and the remaining ciphers are like a final mocking laugh from beyond the grave. Then there's the case of the Somerton Man. This one is like something out of a spy novel. This phrase is Persian, meaning it is ended, or it is finished. The paper was traced back to a very rare copy of a book of poetry, the Rubaiyat of Omar Khayyam. Police put out a public call, and a man came forward saying he found the book in the back of his car around the time the body was discovered. In the back of that book, written in faint pencil, was what appeared to be a cipher. 5 lines of capital letters, with 1 line crossed out. It looked like a message. Decades of work by military intelligence and amateur sleuths have yielded nothing. Was he a spy? Jilted lover? The code is so short, it's almost impossible to apply any statistical analysis. The Somerton Man's name, his story, and the meaning of his final, encrypted message all died with him on that beach. Not all ciphers are tied to such grim ends, but they can be just as perplexing. Take the Dorabella cipher. In 1897, the famous English composer Edward Elgar sent a note to his close friend, Dora Penny. But it wasn't a normal letter. It was 87 characters made up of what looks like squiggles and loops. 3 distinct symbols, arranged in different orientations. Elgar was known to be interested in puzzles and ciphers, so this wasn't totally out of character. But Dora never figured it out. and to this day, no one else has either. Theories range from it being a simple substitution cipher, spelling out a private message, to it being a melody, a tune, written just for her. But every attempt to decode it has produced nothing but nonsense. In 1939, a Russian-born English cartographer named Alexander Degapiev published a book on cryptography called Codes and Ciphers. In the first edition of the book, he included a challenge cipher for the reader to solve. It was a block of hundreds of numbers, and that's where the problem started. For years, no one solved it. When people started asking for the solution, Degapiev had to admit something embarrassing. He'd forgotten how he encrypted it. He couldn't solve his own puzzle. He removed the cipher from all subsequent editions of the book, hoping the problem would just go away. But it didn't. Cryptographers have been banging their heads against this thing for over 80 years. They've tried every technique imaginable. Some believe he must have made a mistake when he was writing it down, making it mathematically unsolvable. But others think it's a complex, multi-stage cipher that was just too clever for its own good. It's the ultimate irony. A puzzle from an expert on puzzles that became a true, unsolved mystery simply because of human error. It's a code with no key, whose creator was its first victim. Finally, we have to talk about the undisputed king of all unsolved texts, the Voynich manuscript. It's a book about 240 pages long, carbon dated to the early 15th century, and it is written entirely in a language or code that no one on earth can read. The script is elegant and flowing, with a distinct alphabet that appears nowhere else. During World War II, the legendary codebreaker William Friedman would help break Japan's purple cipher, dedicated years of his life to it, and failed, concluding it must be an artificial language. Is it an elaborate, meaningless hoax? Is it the lost work of an alchemist? A forgotten medical textbook? Or the diary of someone from another world? The sheer strangeness of it, the combination of a perfectly structured but meaningless text with illustrations that are both beautiful and deeply unsettling, makes the Voynich manuscript the most profound and disturbing cipher of all. It's not just an unread message. It's a glimpse into a world we can see, but can never hope to understand. These codes remind us that for all our knowledge, the world is still full of locked rooms, full of secrets. And maybe, just maybe, some of them are better left that way. If you find these deep dives into the unknown as fascinating as I do, make sure you're subscribed for more stories from the edge of our understanding. Thanks for watching.